The earth, our home. We're all in a state of change, in a state of growth, in a state of rapid change, of rapid growth. Seen from an astrological perspective, we're in between, like I've said in several videos before, we're in between these two ages, the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. And not just are we between two ages, but for millennia, it's been said that this age is our golden age, the age in which we truly ascend, we truly grow in irreversible ways. We truly accomplish another state of consciousness, another state of being. The world is chaotic. We all know it. We all live in this environment of massive economic, mental, social, emotional, spiritual change. There's simply so much transformation happening right now. It can get very easy to get wrapped up in it all, to get very fearful, to get very to get very all sorts of challenging emotions, challenging states of being. We're meant to be learning some huge lessons right now. I was just having dinner with my friend. We were just talking about this, how we're meant to be learning how important it is to be a human, to be alive, to have brothers and sisters, to have brothers and sisters in the sense of you, of me, of being on the same team, you know, of looking out for each other, of caring more about human life, about life in general, not just human life, but life in general, all around our planet. Caring too much about human life has led to the absolute devastation of our ecology. But, I really do sense and logically think that it's all going to be fine, that it's all going to work out, that it's not going to take an apocalypse for us to realize where some of our choices in recent decades and recent centuries could have been better, how our actions could have been better. I think it's not going to take anything drastic like that. I really do see all around me the rapid growth in consciousness occurring, the rapid revelations that are coming to people, both on the individual, the microcosmic scale, and the macrocosmic scale of society. What are these revelations? These revelations are to care more about each other than to be caring about financial status, than to be caring about foolish things like how many consumer goods we have. It's so interesting to me and so ironic that we still do have this part of our society that is living this out. We have this highly gluttonistic, highly wasteful society that's all about spend, use. Use up the resources, use up everything you can. Who cares about the future? That doesn't matter. It's a very low vibration. I've talked in other videos about high and low vibrations, and when I say high and low vibrations, I mean of our state of being, not just a mind state, but a state of being. The highest vibrational people that I've met are those who are the most caring. And not just caring, how to put it? It's caring in a very deep way, caring in a very intelligent way, in a very harmonious way. It's not just giving away, you know, like, I'm caring for you by giving you all my resources. No, there's a very healthy state of mind going on with these people of high vibrations. To have a high vibration doesn't make you better than anyone. I think that's part of understanding what it means to have a high vibration. It just means that you're more in tune with yourself, and thus, because ultimately the surface differences between human beings are so minimal compared to how similar we are. I mean, just think of the base anatomic realities, and not even just there's no, the division between male and female doesn't, it's still a very minor change. Human beings are all in this reality together. We are all on this planet together. And even in future times, when we colonize the moon, planets, other solar systems, we still are united in this framework, in this being. And life in general, all life, meow meow on the bed right there, we're all united in our being. Kind of been going a lot of different directions, but to go back to what I was talking about before, we are meant in this time, in this next decade, don't mean to keep referencing videos, but I do have a video called Pluto and Capricorn. No, is it Uranus squared Pluto? Something like that. It's in the transits playlist on my page. But I talk about the realities that we're facing right now, the economic change, the vast economic change that we're undergoing, that we're experiencing right now. We are meant, the fear that exists, and there's so much fear. This fear of scarcity, fear of security, fear of institutions failing, or fear of not having enough. That's Pluto and Capricorn. That's where we are at. And having square Uranus, the planet of the Aquarian age, this is exactly what's supposed to be going on. And so there will be times, there will be obstacles that are very challenging and that very much call upon us to raise, to higher our consciousness, to get above what was holding us back before, of bias, of prejudice, of hatred, of fear. Essentially, it all boils down to the same thing, fear. We are meant not to be fearful, but to have challenges come our way and for us to rise above them, to use and master fear, and to ultimately learn lessons. That's the whole reason for being here, is to learn, to grow. And again, one of those lessons is to learn to not put so much stock, to not care so much about financial realities. That's all in a state of transition. It's all in a state of being reborn. Yes, it's scary when things die, when people die, but rebirth is a part of life. It's a part of death. And that's what we're undergoing right now, is this fear of scarcity being reborn. Earth sign people I know, a lot of Virgo, a lot of Taurus, a lot of Capricorn, are absolutely white-knuckled right now. They're clinging, as Earth energy usually does, to whatever is solid, whatever is secure. Relax, calm down, it's okay. This is all meant to be happening. These challenges are meant to be occurring. They are meant to come up in our lives. The challenge truly isn't to try and master our economic realities. We're going to survive. Do everything you can, yes, absolutely. Do everything as intelligently as possible, yes. But to have a fear of scarcity, to have a fear of starvation, of losing your shelter, you are going to get through this. This next decade, I'm not saying this next decade we're all going to be, starving or facing huge challenges in our realities. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, if these things happen, relax, you're going to survive. Another important lesson, there's two actually connected with this. The first one is treat yourself and treat others with love. Treat them with acceptance for who they are. Don't make divisions between peoples, and not just on the microcosmic scale in your life of us versus them, but us versus them in the realm of the world society. I am deeply proficient in several cultures around the world. I speak like 5 languages and I'm continually growing. People are people. There is no us versus them. People have different ideas, different belief systems, different ways of being, yes, but ultimately we are all people, we all love. So we need to learn collectively how to let go of these barriers, to let go of these divisions that we create, and to embrace the entire world as it is, the entire world. So this lesson is ultimately treat people how you want to be treated. Treat them as human beings and respect them as human beings. Don't think of them only in terms of being valuable if they're worth something. This idea of being worth something is being done away with. Technologically, socioeconomically, we are growing past this idea of being only measured in worth by financial gain. Money is paper and metal, little bits of metal and paper. And it only symbolizes so much. You could be the wealthiest person in the world. That doesn't make you the best person in the world. So that's another one of these lessons, is in this time of changing institutions, of changing realities, not only do not fear, but use your energies to better yourself. That is ultimately where your true value and worth lies, is, well, ultimately your self-love. That's the ultimate value. You don't need to even start thinking of human beings in the sense of, that one's more valuable than the other. As Ornette Coleman, the amazing jazz musician, said, there is not one human being who's better than another. Not at all. And to add a little bit to what he said, is we're just different. Every single person has their own gifts, you know. In my life, I've actively pursued bettering myself. I've pursued what worked best for me. I always have instinctively, since day one, been drawn towards music, been drawn towards art, been drawn towards people and communications, been drawn towards psychology, and that led me to astrology. I've been drawn towards science in general. And so I followed that with no fear. You know, of course obstacles came up and I had bouts of fear, but I overcame them. I didn't let them get me down. I didn't let them challenge my purpose for being here, which is to fulfill myself, to be the best I can be, and to give back as much as I possibly can to everything. Everybody has their gifts, though. That's another lesson, is to not compare yourself to anyone. Every single person has innate value that is absolutely unique and special. It doesn't matter if somebody else has the exact same astrological energies as them, the exact same tendencies, the exact same, energetic predispositions, if you will. Every single person is unique, and they have something of value, of multiple things of value to offer the world. And so that's part of the lesson too, is because we're living in an economic reality of basically finding sustenance through some job, very often the job isn't the most fulfilling. So we need to get past, and that's the whole point of where we're at as an entity, this entire planet, is we're getting past this system of mass consumerism, of living just to sell and buy and sell and buy and sell. No, that hasn't worked. That's exploded. It's done. It's lived its purpose, and we've moved on to a new form. Now, technologically, as Dr. Michio Kaku has written in his beautiful, beautiful book, I want to say it's called 2100, essentially he's talking about the technologies in effect today that are being developed, that are being researched. And he expounds on how it's going to change the future. And I very much agree with his viewpoint, his work. Beautiful, beautiful book. I highly recommend that you check it out. Dr. Michio Kaku, Kaku. I want to say the book's called 2100. But it's talking about essentially technology that reorganizes matter into sustenance, into food, creating our own food. That is the reality that we live in. Our technology is skyrocketing, even though our economic situation is dwindling, in the sense that it's not fulfilling people as human beings. And again, that's part of Pluto and Capricorn, especially square Uranus. That change is meant to occur. It's leading to beautiful, good things. Again, death is scary, it can be. But rebirth, that's the whole point. And the rebirth is absolutely worth it. All that's decaying and rotting will be reborn into a system that actually works. And for us, with Capricorn at play, Pluto and Capricorn, that system is our institutions, our entire fabric of society, jobs. It's getting there. It's growing. It really is. But it's going to be different than how it was before. It's inevitable, because we'll be moving forward. We're not just trying to relive the past. And so, this all ties in with that lesson of investing in yourself. The whole job market economic situation is crazy, yes. Don't internalize it. Don't feel like your value is at all decided by what's happening out there. Your value is within, and you know your own value. You need to love yourself first. That's key. To love and accept yourself exactly as you are. To then be developing yourself in your gifts, in your innate, beautiful talents. Again, I talked about mine. And if you would stick me in certain environments, I would absolutely wither. Not only just not thrive, I wouldn't survive, you know? Military. There's tons of places that me personally I would not work. And vice versa. Stuff that I love to do, other people, you know, their gifts are lie elsewhere. So that's very important. Find your gifts and develop it infinitely. You'll be happier. And ultimately, as all of these economic changes take place, and we finally have a system that works, you're going to not only be happier and more fulfilled, but you're going to be skilled. And you're going to be developed. All that time will have actually enriched you as a person. So study, grow, work, do whatever, pursue whatever you feel like you need to pursue. Life is short. We could all be dead any moment. So live, thrive. Don't just survive, but thrive. I know it's challenging in these times, but that's what we're meant to be doing, is to be embracing ourselves as individuals, to be embracing ourselves for our true potential, and to be making the world a better place in the process. To not be so focused on economic realities and scarcity. We're going to survive. Human beings, despite however many, and I just laugh because it's so naive, I feel, despite how much cynicism exists, human beings are deeply peaceful, loving creatures. We take it for granted so much in our society that so many people, especially after centuries and centuries and millennia even, of persecution, of killings, of torture, and especially in this past century we've seen such horrible violence. The world is safest than it's ever been before, and it's getting more and more tolerant and more globalized and more peaceful between peoples. Never would you hear about in the modern age a war happening between France and England. And yet centuries back that there was nothing but war between these entities, you know? The world is growing, it's changing rapidly, and in beautiful ways. In challenging ways too, economically, yes. Everything I've said before. But use this time, use the time of being alive to truly fulfill yourself. To do what you have to do to survive and to have your shelter, to have your food. But don't lose that eye to the future of getting past all of this storm that we're in. Don't let the fear cloud your judgment. Don't let the fear limit you from what you're meant to be accomplishing here now. So go do what you need to do. That's ultimately the biggest lesson I find with where we are right now, the state of the world. Is be who you need to be and do what you need to do. And in the process, love is created, and love is all that really matters. And the beautiful thing is doing what you need to do. For example, me doing this video right now. It's perfect on so much more than just a emotional love basis. And not just that, love isn't just emotion, it's life itself. But doing what you need to do, developing yourself, cultivating yourself, as the French say, à cultiver le jardin intérieur, to cultivate your inner garden. That's what we're meant to be doing right now. To let go of the chaos and fear that's happening outside. And to embrace inner peace, inner loving, inner development, infinitely. That's how we all contribute and make the world a better place. By embracing our place in it. Namaste. Love yourself and love your brothers and sisters. Life is the most important thing. And life is love.